taking into cognizance that all provincial mining offices in Zimbabwe, the 8 of them, we no longer have no maps that shows the registered mines. And now we are coming in with a cadastral system. It will cause more disputes than we ever saw. Maybe actually in the bill, there was need that all prior registered mines have got to be given a time limit that they have got to be actually submitted to the ministry via the PMD. To our surprise, we understand there was actually a letter that went to the PMD that a miner, Ambuya Wizin Maramba Pungwe, to hire a surveyor to go and take the coordinates on her mine, submit them, or lose that claim. I think there has to be rationale, number one. Number two, it has got also to be taken in cognizance. The Berlin Conference and the Scramble for Africa was made for minerals, not agricultural land. So we have to have our people as a priority, majority. Alluding has been done actually by the Zimbabwe Federation of Mining. Artisanal miners are producing 60% of gold in Zimbabwe. They are not mentioned in the bill. The small-scale miner has been restricted now to 40 hectares. When you are mining chrome 40 hectares, you are not producing anything. Still, the bill is favoring the foreign miners. Strategic minerals. The president did not assent. Why? Because it was leaving the people 1 million. Where do you get 1 million to be eligible, to be considered? Our bill should not want to take investors to be the foreign people that come into the country as investors. It has got to be us. We have got to graduate to be the owners of our land, agriculturally and mining. Then we will move forward. Yes, disadvantaged people, the disabled, the war veterans, the very same people that liberated this country, that we could have the agrarian revolution. And now we are now looking at a situation where we want this bill to have a mineral revolution. They are not mentioned in the bill. Our minerals is our heritage. Endowments of a country must benefit the people of that country. If there was looting during colonialism, how have we decolonized our minds as the owners of this country, Zimbabwe? What are we making? The bill must speak to what we are making for our minerals. Mr. Speaker said, we went actually to Victoria Falls one time, and we had our chairperson of finance.
Sorry, my chairman, in the interest of family interview, we're only
May I have somebody else?
What is something that we also go to debate the parliament? I think we have if we can already do because I know you are so passionate about this bill. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Anderson. 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, maybe 2 minutes.
Fine. I'll say it in the mother language. I'll say it in the mother language. The bill must want to speak for Zimbabwe. Tarima Babaira Zaita, Atina Zokucheresa. Taona werumwe rudzi ane mapazi okuchera mbambaira. Ouya ochera mbambaira. Otisira maranazi embambaira netumbambaira tunotorwa nezimura netumbambaira twatinoti tax mbambaira dzese otakura uenda nadzo. Bhiri redu ngarituudze kuti kana vauyi vachiuya tinowanawo 25-30% inogadzira nyika. Togadzirawo marodhi anofamba napamusoro pedzimwe rodhi sezvaiitwa during colonialism, kuti the crown was getting a percentage of whatever was done pasi zvapamusoro zvaziitwa. Ini ndaingoda kuti ndikukumbirei kuti iri bhiri rinoda nguva. Totorana iyo Ministry of Mines, totorana Chamber of Mines, totorana vekuimba sema-big brothers. Ngatitorane ne-MMCZ, Chamber of Mines, chiuyaira chisati chadhildhani chinhu chiri paruware chisati chadhilicho hande chinogadzira chinhu chichasenzeswa nezvizvarane nevazokuwa chavo.
Please, let's restrict ourselves to time. I know we are so passionate. This bill touches a lot of us because of 50 parts.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let me recognize the Speaker of Parliament, the Honourable Deputy Minister of Grants. So, all protocols of that. First of all, when we are making laws, we need to consider how impactful they are to our economy. When you talk about the Zimbabwean economy, you talk two things: agriculture and mining. So we have a fantastic opportunity to really shape a mining sector that makes millionaires and billionaires out of black Zimbabweans based on the resources that are available here. That's number one. And then I'm going to talk how I think we can do it through this law. The first thing is the board itself is composed of what are being called stakeholders, specialists, engineers. There's no mining that takes place in this country without the traditional leadership. It does not matter where that investor is coming from. You have to have consultation with the traditional leadership, but they're not being represented on the mining affairs board. So I would like that there be an adjustment that traditional leaders are appointed to that specific board. Number two, Mr. Chairman, there is something heartbreaking happening in our country, which I think this law must address. There is nothing technologically innovative about heaping sand or processing sand and taking that money outside the country. We're seeing alluvial chrome mining, alluvial gold mining, even on the rivers, being done by foreigners. Basic thing that doesn't need technology. The investors from outside must bring technology to do things we can't do. The ability to heap sand can't be used as technology. So this law must restrict, in my view, must restrict alluvial mining, river mining, whether it's chrome or gold, to indigenous people. That's how we I don't believe giving an EPL, exclusive prospecting license for 12 years is reasonable. If you have not found anything in 12 years, what are you still doing there? So I believe that this period must not be extended to 12 years. I think maximum 6 years is good enough for any exploration. This law, in my view, Mr. Chairman, must compel the Ministry, the Mining Affairs Board, to train our people about mining affairs. What's happening in this country is heartbreaking. A lot of foreigners are approaching people who are holding claims because our people are desperate. They are giving away these claims in return for 10% of what comes out of there. That money is not building our country. It's being shipped outside the country. But if our people had training to understand that the value they are giving away is far more than what these guys are bringing, we would not have those things that are heartbreaking taking place. So I believe this bill must provide the necessity to educate all our people about the relevance and the criticality of mining in this country. Finally, Mr. Chairman, we saw a big deal happen in the sale of prospect mining to Huayou Cobalt in China, $450 million. It's money that exchanged hands outside of our territory, no tax accrued to our country, but this was a Zimbabwean asset being sold. This law does not address how that is going to be handled to ensure that the exchange of ownership of assets, whether it is on the Australian Stock Exchange, the London Stock Exchange, or the Canadian Stock Exchange, benefits the tax collection in our own country. I did not see any provision of that in this situation. Then, one critical point is about laboratories. I don't know of one state-owned laboratory that is looking at these minerals and the composition of our minerals. We are relying with the privately owned laboratories who we don't know whether they are telling us the truth. So we are shipping resources outside our country. We don't know how much is in there. So therefore, I think that this law must compel the states to establish first-class, world-class laboratory that tests our minerals. Finally, the trading of our minerals. The trading of our minerals is taking place in London, is taking place in Hong Kong, is taking place in other places. Zimbabwe ranks #1 globally in some of the minerals that we have. But we are allowing those minerals to be traded by other people with no revenue to our own people. Yet we are training traders from our universities. Therefore, this law must allow trading of those assets locally. I could go on, but I'll allow this. Thank you.
I think you agree with me, my humble request, that we needed the whole day. Because this is very critical. Our economy is hugely on mining. For us to treat this new, we will have statements one day the farmers, and the issues which are being brought up are very critical. The two members who have raised issues, you can see they are very critical issues. And people are turning to Honorable Moyo, then I'll come to Honorable Amoswa, and I'll come to
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The first one, the issue to do with social responsibility certificates. Who issue the social responsibility certificates? What formula is going to be used? What if the mining companies continue to declare losses year in, year out? That's number one. Number two, what happens when you realize that there is a strategic mineral or any other mineral in a tourist area? We don't want to hear that there is mining in Waihi National Park or in Great Zimbabwe. Thirdly, value addition and beneficiation. How practically are we putting some measures to make sure that there is no continuous mining without value addition and beneficiation? Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. My contribution is on the issue to do with mining in towns. I heard that they are concentrating more on the water protection. I think there is need to expand to protect the environment in general, because we see, for example, in Warren Park, there is air pollution and there is also land pollution. So we really need to strengthen this area on urban mining. The bill needs to be strengthened. I also propose that for the foreigners, we need a minimum shareholding for the locals. I propose 25% local ownership, something that is similar to the indigenization law that we had, so that we really know that this is our heritage. These minerals are God-given to the Zimbabweans, and the Zimbabweans must actually have a control. In fact, we should declare all minerals strategic resource to Zimbabwe. Then, on corporate social responsibility, there is need to strengthen this area, also linking it to local ownership. I also propose for artisanal and small-scale mining that there is need for a mining development fund. It must be included in the bill. We know it is there, but if it's not included in the Act of Parliament, it means small-scale miners are not benefiting. The issue of geologists being paid by miners, I don't think this should be paid by prospecting the citizens. The geologists must be paid by the Ministry of Mines. They must be employed by the Ministry of Mines. We know the maps they indicate in this area there is gold. Why should then I be allowed to pay $450 before I submit an application for a certificate? There is need to revise this. I end an honorable chair with a suggestion on the board and the mining in general that there is need for a natural resource governance charter, agreeing with members who have said there is need for including artisanal miners, to include traditional leaders, which means that there is need for all stakeholder approach. I propose that the board must be governed by principles laid down in a natural resource governance charter where we agree what we want as Zimbabweans. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Allow me to call upon Honorable Mterekwa. After that, if we may give our presenters some few minutes to respond, because you know these issues are hot issues and there are so many issues that have been raised. And then I'll come back to the floor. After Honorable Mterekwa, we are going to request for responses from our
nekuti nyaya yatakagarira muno inyaya inokosha iri kuda nguva chaiyo zvataurwa nacheya kuti aiwa musati matanga. Ndichidaro ndikuda kutanga kuti nyaya yemaminerals anzi akachengetedzwa aya anoti diamond neemerald zvinotora nguva yakadii kuti muone mamwe anokosha. Iko zvino ukatarisa chinhu chinonzi antimony, mukanogugula mukaona price yeantimony, mukaona rashi iri mukati menyika iri kumhanyirwa antimony, zvinongokuudzai kuti chakakosha chinhu ichocho. Yanga iri pfungwa yekuti madii kutarisa mamwe maminerals anogona kuitwa ring-fenced agokosheswa sezviri kuitwa diamond. Mukatarisa lithium iko zvino ukaona kambani yakuloda 100 matrucks every day achienda kumabhodha uko, zvinotaridza kuti mune zvakakosha zviri mulithium iyoyo. Yadii kupinda kuitira kuti nyika izikanwe kuti mune zvinokosha. Ndichibva ipapo ndinobvumirana nomutauri ambotaura akamirira vacheri vechidiki. Kana chiri chokwadi kuti vacheri vechidiki vari kucontributa 60%, handina kumbonyatsokuona section iri kuprotecta vanhu ivava mubhiru iroro. Saka zviri kurevei zviri kuti aiwa kachivatarisai vanhu ivavo muone kuti vaniko reinvest sei. Chii chazomboita kuti vaite 60% vasina zvikwanisiro? Chii chingazogona kuti vapindewo mu90% vane zvikwanisiro? Zvinotadzika here panze pekukansela mukanserera munhu title ko imimi vanosvika vaya vachida kumaina chinokutadzisai chii? Kuti iwewe une claim rakanaka redeposit kwaro, hoyo investor chibatana naye panze pekumutorera, muri kutorera ma-indigenous people. Pane malayers matatu ari kunzi ma-artisanal, onzi ma-small scale, onzi ma-medium nama-large scale. Ministry tiri kuti panozogarwa chairman nyaya ingaigarwe pasi tese munhu nemunhu ape pfungwa dzake kuitira kuti chinhu chachigadzirwe panguva diki chinotora makore. zvibva zvangogadziriswa zvibva zvagadzirika kuitira kuti vanhu maindigenous people vagone kushanda vachibenefita muzviwanikwa zvemunyika mavo. Imwe nyaya ndiri kuti hazvikone here kuti mubhiri imomo kana mupolisi tinoziva kuagriculture kuna extension officer anodzidzisa murimi kuti isa fertilizer isa manyowa. Chii chikonzero chinotaridza kuti kuma small scale muise mageologist anotaura kuti mukutera tsinga ayo makurasika endai makadai ende mukasvika ipapo makubetsera nyika makubetsera vanhu kuti vagone kuchera zvinova zvinosumudzira even mavolumes egold ramunoda kunana Fidelity ndouya kuMMCZ. Kune nyaya yemasemi precious vazhinji vasingatomboziva kuti muriko imi zvizhinji zvamusikuziva zvemunyika umu. Handiziva kuti education kana kuti information ikasvika kupi. Tine matsotsi ari kutenga masemi precious kuseri kwedzimba mumabackyard zvisiri kuuya nepamori arimo munyika umu. Nenyaya yekuti zvinhu zvikungoputika vanhu vari kuzviwana vari kuzvichera, asi itai kuti vanhu vazive kuti munogona kuvatengesera uye zvinogona kuita mari munhu achirarama mazviri. Iyi yesocial responsibility yataurwa iyi ndeimwe nyaya iyoyo. Ndakupedza saka nditu
allow me, I'm sorry, in the interest of time, I think our request we submitted it already to the speaker is going to request. If I may call upon our stakeholders, we start with our presenters who are sitting in the front to respond to the issues which have been raised by the honorable members. It also including issues raised by the stakeholders. If you can address them. The Honorable Minister, if you can come, I'll take my seat and you respond from here.
You can say, Pamsoroi, yes, there have been many questions. I think the wonderful thing is that it is giving us recommendations and ideas on what we can do with the bill. So I will not attempt to answer all the questions because some of them really just there for implementing. For example, Honorable Matagira was interested in timelines for the international training. That's one of the issues we raised. Secondly, we are going to look at that and see what we can do. And you also raised the issue of us prioritizing small-scale farmers and not foreigners. In the bill we are looking at it, we looked at it in terms of the three ways that you can get titles. The claims, the leases, and then the special grants. So definitely we are going to prioritize small-scale farmers. We will look at the wording that is there, and we work very closely with our Attorney General. You also raised the issue of war veterans not being specially mentioned in the bill. And you mentioned that we need to decolonize mining. I certainly agree with you that we should look at it and see where we can include the war veterans in the bill. there is a statutory instrument which specifies government ownership at a memorandum of agreement at the moment. You have heard about the 26.74% share of government. Honorable Manwanzi, you came up with a very good suggestion. Yes, I've been part of the people who have been looking at the bill. I don't think we have specifically mentioned the traditional leaders in the mining affairs board. So I think again that is a very good suggestion. Yes, we have mentioned about large-scale foreign investors. We have mentioned insurance and so on, in an attempt to protect our indigenous miners. But once again, the whole purpose is not, it's not yet a bill. So again, we will relook at that suggestion. And the issue of training of indigenous people, I think again, we will include that in the bill. The other issue raised about the exchange of money outside the country, about our resources being traded outside. I will leave that for the time being because it belongs to Ministry of Finance. Regarding the laboratory, I think again it's an issue that needs to come into our bill. Honorable Moyo, you raised the issue of CSR. And you said who issues these certificates. Actually, in the bill, we got an independent CSR certifier who will actually go and say, look, again, Mr. Speaker, my CSR certifier, do I know that CSR is a proposal, but it's really voluntary. As to now, it's compulsory. Can I see those who don't want to read out? I'm sure I'm going to score up. I'm saying, clinic is a don't farm forward to na CSR certified. Comrade Moyo, let me again, Honorable Moyo, respond to your issue of tourist areas. Some of them, or most of them, are reserved areas. In the bill, there is a clause which talks about reserved areas. We can now apply to mine in reserved areas. You will need the minister's approval. Comrade, also, you made some very good suggestions which will yeah. I think this is the politics in the money for Honorable Alonso. Yeah, that's a memorandum of agreement, planning representation, but should look at this one in contract. Matawa was the National Resources Governance Charter for the Mining Affairs Board. We will certainly look at it and see what we can do. The mine during Matawa, Honorable Mjering. We will clarify my definition, a small, medium, numerous scale miners. I think for the time being, the people of the US are executive, perhaps a command
seriously, in the interest of time, we are having these workshops as a result of your wisdom. You actually thought that for the bills to come into Parliament to be debated, and our people don't have any knowledge about these bills, we were not contributing enough. We were contributing on something we should have knowledge of. If you may allow me, as I'm going on the second round, to allow you to give us your inputs, because our time, in the interest of our time, your contributions, what you think about the bill. So far, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Acting Chairman. When we started, there were fewer members of Parliament. Now, you cannot develop Africa. You cannot develop Zimbabwe if you don't fervently believe that time is an asset. Time is an asset. Whatever we do in life, we do it in time. And therefore, when we have such meetings, we should be on time and respect time. Not for such interface where we want to have a feel of the bill before presentation in Parliament. But at all times, even as MPs, if you are invited to be a guest of honor at some function, be on time and respect the people. That is critical. All of you have been very impressed by the legal counsel to the ministry for summarizing the various parts. I think she did very well. Now, this is not the end of the story, honorable members. In Shona, would say this was in Suiza. And once we have got that taste, then we go to the process. Number one, in which the committee now will have a full workshop with the ministry and all the relevant stakeholders, more than half a day. And then, of course, the second stage is the public hearings. The citizens must contribute to the bill. And, for example, we need to know what the churches say, what the universities say, especially those universities that have got departments of mines or mining. You need to hear from organizations such as the Law Society of Zimbabwe, women in law. There are various stakeholders that
must have some input during the public hearings. So those who were so anxious to contribute during this session, the time is there. You have your time. Now, let me look at the observations, personal. First of all, under the memorandum, it says this bill will replace the Mines and Minerals Act, Chapter 2105, in order to achieve the following main objectives. Well done. But one issue that has been raised by Honorable Matangira and Manwanzira is on L, the principle L, to make provisions for the indigenization and localization of the mining industry at the primary level of mining. That is critical. And you juxtapose this principle with the fact that the artisanal miners, small-scale miners, are contributing 60% to the gold output. That's where our focus must be. That's where our focus must be there, as some members have mentioned, in terms of giving expertise in order to capacitate this group. Secondly, in order to fund them, there must be a fund. There must be a fund. They are producing 60%, and you don't fund them. Fund them so that they could go to 90%. The Kadar system. The bill does not clearly state how the Kadar system is going to be harmonized nationally. We should have one cadastral system that can be used by not only the Ministry of Mines and Mining Development, you have agriculture, must have access to that, and you have other ministries that are involved in developmental issues that should use, and therefore there should be a clear linkage with the Surveyor General in terms of the mapping. The mapping, very important. As long as the Kadar system is not in place, then we have not started. That's a primary issue that must be attended to. You go to definition. It says, it's on page 2, Roman numbers, right at the bottom. Mineral remains defined as it is in the existing Act. The existing Act is going to die. So when you say this will replace the existing management, so you must define what a mineral is in this bill, because it is replacing the existing Act. On page 11, Roman numbers, under clause 48, right in the middle there, it's an editorial. Yeah? It says, whichever ED affected. You are presenting a proposed law, so you must be circumspect with your editorial. I hope you've seen it. Now, my song. You cannot do or carry out mining effectively if you are hesitant about value addition and the beneficiation. The current bill says there will be some encouragement. No. Our minerals must be value added and beneficiated, not to encourage. It must be instructive. It must be parental. Otherwise, we carry on with our minerals being processed outside the country. Like platinum, for example. There is silver there and other minerals, rare minerals, inside the platinum. And when this is processed outside the country, we have no knowledge of what is coming out there and what happens to what has been processed and refined outside the country. So it must be a must, not an encouragement. Finally, the other side of my coin and song, you cannot do beneficiary mining if you have not done exploration. Exploration. Where are the minerals? We have the Great Dike, for example, stretching from Bite Bridge right down to Kanyemba. And De Beers have a record to say Zimbabwe, then Rhodesia, had at least 40 minerals or more, or between 40 and 60. But the exploration needs to be done as a compelling exercise, if not a conditional precedent, because without exploration, we cannot know how much of our minerals are there and where are they in terms of quantities or density. So it is important that we emphasize the question of exploration. And in that way, we'll be in a better position to mine in a targeted manner. But for Imzwisa, I think this has been an excellent exposition for a start. I want to thank you, Honorable Minister, Acting Permanent Secretary, Council, and all the stakeholders that made their contributions. And please, we will need those contributions to be part and parcel of our public hearings. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Always your wise counseling, your wise words, you always lead us from the front. And it now answers to why we call you the headmaster. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's a different reason.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, in the interest of time, let me make one announcement. All our lunches, all of us